Welcome all to the first installment of Operation Movie Cafe.
Where we talk movies, and that's it.
None of the other two words.
No.
We'd like to preface this with saying we searched for a good minute and a half to 3 minutes on a business generator looking for a good name.
Found a pretty good one.
I think it's great.
It perfectly sums up what the show's about.
Movies and operations and
Cafes.
sweet cuisine.
Exactly.
All right.
Yep.
What's up? What are we talking about?
Well, we did just see 2 movies this weekend.
2 movies on opposite sides of the Richter scale.
Yes. I'd agree.
Some shook my world, and some I didn't even feel it in my dick.
Yeah. Well, those
Which
2
one?
movies were Wish Upon, a new horror movie
With Joey King
based on a Goosebumps book.
and Jerry O'Connell.
Yes. And the
The
other
fat
one...
kid from Stand By Me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Great movie, but not as good as Kangaroo Jack.
Yes.
Even better.
Yes. And the second movie we saw was War for the Planet of the Apes.
God, War for the Planet of the Apes just fucking sucked. Am I right? And Wish
Yeah.
Upon was
Wish Upon
pure
was
gold.
It was pure gold. I think we'll start with Wish Upon because it's pure gold.
Alright, then let me get out of the way the only thing I liked. In the beginning of the movie, it's all spoilers.
Basically,
Because I don't care if you didn't see Wish Upon.
Wish Upon. Don't see it.
Just don't see it.
Don't see it. There's my review. Don't see it.
There's a great scene, just kidding, it's horrible. In the beginning, when her mom kills herself, you see her with her dog, and then it cuts to however many years later. The only good thing is the visual storytelling. You see the dog is
Of that
with her.
sequence, we have to emphasize
Yeah,
that
of
sequence.
that sequence. There's a dog with her, and you can see that they've all aged. And it doesn't tell you, like, she doesn't tell you directly that it's the same dog, but you can tell, and I thought that was fine.
I will add that there is one more thing that is good about the movie. It has 2 sax solos.
True.
Her dad plays a saxophone, and it is killer. I mean...
Well, I think we should go through what the plot of the movie is.
Okay, so the plot of this movie, it's very simple.
Very simple.
Considering they stole it from R.L. Stine. This is a...
Who, of course, is Jack Black.
yes, as
His
we all
writing
know.
alias.
But Wish Upon is about a girl who comes upon... Well, her dad actually finds this old Chinese box in a dumpster. And...
Conveniently, she's taking Chinese class.
Yeah, she conveniently takes Chinese class so she can read all of the good parts of the box, but not the bad parts of the box.
Yes. She sees sweet fulfillment and
7
amazing
wishes.
things in your future.
But she doesn't see bloodlust coming after you.
Blood price.
But she gets this box that allows her to have 7 wishes. And of course, instead of wishing for good things, she wishes to be popular and
Yeah.
wishes that her uncle dies and gives her will.
Yeah, her uncle dies
Yeah.
because, every time she makes a wish, in, the vein of The Monkey's Paw and that Goosebumps book, what's it called?
Which one? Oh, the Be Careful What You Wish For?
Be
Yeah.
careful what you wish for, and pretty sure there's an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode.
Probably.
In the same vein, every time she wishes for something bad happens. And that's kind of, the point.
Yeah.
So she wishes at first... What's the first wish?
The first wish is the girl would rot.
Yeah, so her friend, or not her friend, the school bully would rot, and she kind of gets, a disease that makes her rot.
Yeah, that's a good scene. When
Great scene.
When she looks up, there's it's like she's rotting, and then she just looks right
Yeah,
up.
the rest of the scene continues without her, and she's just checked out oh my god, my wish came true. And then she kind of, her uncle dies.
In the best way possible.
He's getting out of his bathtub. Or getting in.
He's getting in the bathtub.
Slips.
Knocks his head.
Yeah, and then he kind of
starts bleeding.
passes out.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up, tries to get up, and just smashes his head on the faucet again.
And it stabs through his head.
Through his head.
And then he dies.
Then he dies. And she kind of so that's like the repercussion of that wish. And then she's like, oh, well, I wish Uncle Jargy, I don't know what his name is, August?
I don't know.
I wish Uncle August would give me all of his money because he's dead. And so then she gets his house, and it's just a snowball chain of events like that. But she doesn't wish for anything good.
Yeah, she's not like, I wish that, like, all these religious conflicts ended, or I wish that disease didn't exist. She's just like...
Or I wish that, better movies were made.
It's more like, I wish Brad loved me forever. And then she doesn't even like the guy at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Also, this movie's fundamentally flawed in so many ways.
Oh, yeah.
One of my least favorite points is just the fact that some of the ways she phrases things, the outcome isn't what would happen.
No.
Like, she says, I wish I would be the most popular girl in school, and everyone likes her and thinks she's awesome, but her friends don't.
And that doesn't make sense.
If she was the most popular girl in school and everyone loved her, her friends would love her too.
Yeah.
And, like, I get the point. Mm-hmm. And then also she says, I think his name's Paul.
Yeah, it's Paul.
Oh, I wish Paul would be madly in love with me. And then he just stalks her.
Yeah.
She doesn't say, I wish he was obsessed with me, or I wish he was madly obsessed with me. She says in love. And I don't know about you, Tyler, but my experience with love is people understand. And when she says, hey, man, I'm okay, I don't need you, like, no thanks, he would back off because he's madly in love with her. And he understands that she needs space.
All she needed to say is, I wish he liked me. She didn't even need to say, I wish
Is she ready to get married?
Yeah, like, what, like, and that was really bad. The phrasing of it's bad. Also, the writing of this movie is awful. It's so bad.
Yeah. Like we were just talking about, the plot is just...
It's simple.
It's malformed.
And it's really predictable. Like,
it's very predictable, but I feel like they made every single excuse to make it harder to understand.
Yeah. The characters' motivations were really lacking because the main girl, she constantly wished. She had 5 wishes already, and she's talking to her friends, and she's like, I don't think this thing works. But she has 2 chains wrapped around it and 2 padlocks on top to make sure it doesn't open.
Also, she's had the wish, I wish that my uncle that I don't talk to gave me everything in his will. And then the next day,
it
happens. I wish she would rot. She gets a very significant disease that makes her skin rot. She wishes for the most specific things, and those very specific things happen. And she's like, guys, it's not real.
It doesn't work.
Because her friend is the only sensible one in the movie, evidently. She's like, well, why don't you just wish for world peace? Or, I'm trying to get into Brown, or your friend's trying to get into Brown. Why don't you wish, for her? And she's like, I just don't believe that it exists.
It just doesn't work, it doesn't work
and like Tyler said, she's got chains on it.
She has 2 chains. It's on her bed right in front of her.
She's like, look, I'm a little scared, but it's obviously not real.
It doesn't work. It's all fake.
Also, multiple people die, and she knows that it's her fault. And she doesn't wish for them back.
Oh, I think the biggest thing about this movie is... Okay, she dies. The main character dies.
At the end.
At the very end of the movie. It's the best scene in the movie, by far. But the thing that's so stupid about it is another character warns her, saying, hey, if you make 7 wishes, you will die.
Yeah, just don't make the 7th wish.
Yeah, don't make the 7th wish. And so then she's like, I know how to beat you. I'm gonna wish to where... I wish everything was back to normal before I ever found you, before my dad ever found you.
And she thinks she's outsmarting
And she thinks it's fine, but it's like, it doesn't matter. It's still your wish. You're still gonna die.
Yeah.
She completely ignored him. Like, even when he's like, oh, if you make the 7th wish, you're gonna die. She's like, no, I'm not. And it's like, what do you mean?
Because she has some help in this movie from her very Asian friend to get
They make his cousin really Asian.
Yeah,
like,
they give her, like, giant...
She only eats wontons.
She has bull statues.
Yeah.
And, like, she has, like, that kind of kung fu skirt. And, black hair with a red streak. They have, like, a bunch of
floral designs. Yeah. Like, her hair's in, like, a very traditional style.
Yeah. And so, they seek her help to translate further. And they basically find out, don't wish.
Don't wish
That's
ever.
it. That's it. And early on in the movie, the first scene, her mom commits suicide. And you find out that her mom committed suicide because she had the wishing box.
And then that's also stupid, because, like, it went to someone else's family, but somehow it met back to her family.
It wound back up. And she wishes for her mom back. This is right after her friend dies. Like, she's learned to live without her mom. It's been like 12 years, they say. But her friend just died, and she doesn't try and wish for her back.
And she didn't even, like, you never really saw her. She cried for her dog, which I understand, but, like, she never cried for her friend. She's like, oh shit, she got crushed! And then, like, the next day she sees a picture of her at school, and then she, like, kind of frowns, and then she keeps walking.
Yeah. And this is kind of like a side note. I know we're getting into pretty big issues with the movie. Every time the Asian kid's a skateboarder. Every time the Asian kid skateboards, he'll do a trick while wearing some sort of headgear, so you can't tell it's not the actor.
Yeah.
And he ends up going out of frame, and then just comes back in frame way too fast because it's the actor.
Oh, there's one shot where the camera was, like, not supposed to... It was in, like, the wrong setting, because it shows him skateboarding, and it's just blurred.
Oh, yeah.
That was awful. And I'll go into that next. So one thing that I just find completely baffling about this movie is it's directed by a man named John R. Leonetti. So he's a terrible director. He sucks at directing. I'll just say that. Annabelle is one of the worst movies of 2014 by far. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is known for being one of the worst movies.
Did he not
possibly
find work for like 16 years?
I don't know, but like, but the thing is, he's actually the cinematographer for James Wan. And so
he is.
He's the so he was the cinematographer on Conjuring and Insidious.
Jesus
and
Christ.
those two movies are like amazing, have amazing cinematography.
Those are two of the best modern horror movies.
Yeah, and the thing is, the cinematography in this movie is awful.
It's shit.
You're like, if you're a director whose professional job is more cinematography, how do you fail in having a good
I feel like the
cinematography
in the movie we just watched that we made when we were 13
is better.
And there's a point where a whole scene's focused on a napkin.
Yes.
And like that same thing happens in this big budget movie.
Yeah, like, I mean, it seems like they didn't know how to use the camera, because there was many shots where it was really out of focus. They couldn't focus the shots properly. That was just awful. Okay, another point. There's no score.
Yeah, it's only really...
It's just
house pop.
Yeah, it's just like indie pop, and that's it.
Fucked up.
It's so awful. There's like
it's the same song. It starts with like a piano. It's like boom, 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 and
it's always her riding her bike.
Yeah.
Like, throughout the entire movie, there's no music whatsoever until she rides her bike, and then there's all these scenes.
There's a scene. She's riding her bike to school. Boom, boom, and then it cuts into the bully's car, and it's a different song. It's like boom, 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 and then she gets hit by the car, or she swerves into garbage cans.
Well, yeah, she swerves into garbage cans.
And she just has this horrible leg wound, and it cuts to her old uncle that's about to die.
And he's like, Are you alright?
He's like, yeah, alright? And he just kind of stares, like, looming.
And then he just walks away.
And then dies in his bathtub.
Yeah. I'll give this movie one credit. It's 90 minutes. So it's not long.
It didn't feel too long.
It's
very funny.
It's a very funny movie. Yeah. Obviously unintentionally funny.
Oh, yeah. But very worth it.
Yeah.
I laughed quite a bit.
Yeah. But, like, I feel like one thing people are going to say is, like, oh, well, this movie, what do you expect? It's got a $12 million budget. It's kind of lower budget, you know? Like, obviously for independent filmmakers and stuff, that's a lot. But, like, compared to a lot of movies in Hollywood, it's pretty low budget.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's like $12 million. But like people are like, you can't do too much with a lower budget.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, okay. So It Follows came out in 2014 or 2015.
2015.
That movie has great cinematography, a great score, good acting,
good message,
really interesting concept. That movie was made for $2 million.
No shit.
Yeah. Also, 2014, The Babadook. Probably one of the best horror movies in a while.
Yeah.
That movie has amazing cinematography, amazing imagery, amazing acting, like amazing writing.
That's a truly overlooked movie.
$2 million.
Jesus.
And then the movie that I know you, Sam, and Donnie really like. I haven't seen it, but like everyone that has talked to me about this movie says it's great, it's original, great acting, great writing, and that movie's Oculus.
Yeah. That's
This
pretty
movie,
good.
that movie was made for $5 million.
And that movie was based on a short film of the same name, I think. And that probably had a similar budget to the Goosebumps episode.
Probably, yeah, probably $10.
Yeah. $10 in Canadian money.
Exactly, so nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a bad movie. It's
Yeah.
really bad.
I
mean,
don't know
like,
if we have a rating system, but it's the lowest rating.
yeah, out of the 2 movies we're starting this podcast off with, it's the worst.
Yeah, we'll put it out of 2 water bottles, because we got 2 water bottles sitting here. We'll make it 0 water bottles.
Yeah, it's a bad, but yeah, don't see it.
Don't see it unless you get to see it for free.
Exactly.
And if you have a sense of humor about these things, if you're the kind of thing, I used to be really upset when I saw horrible movies. I'd be like just mad that people got the budget and I never got the budget, you know. But if you just want to see it and have a laugh, it's good.
Yeah, if you like go into the movie like not expecting a scary movie because it's not scary.
Yeah.
There's not one scary sequence in the movie.
There's the scene where she's looking for her dead dog under the porch, and you know a jump scare is gonna happen.
It's just rats.
Yeah, but like, it's cheap. But like,
Yeah.
oh, good job. You caught me with a large contrast in a jump scare sound.
The scariest thing in this movie is the painting she has in her room of
oh my god,
some random chick. It's terrifying.
they got a cue from Goosebumps in that because
Yeah.
it looks like the Carly Beth head bust.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's horrifying.
If you've seen
lifeless.
the movie, it's this green painting with like this lady with white lipstick. It's
Who are we kidding? Also, no one's
yeah, no
fucking
one's seen this movie. That's true. Okay, and especially if people have seen this movie, they're not listening.
Yeah.
So
And if you haven't seen the movie and you somehow persevered through us talking about it, thank you.
thank you. We appreciate that.
Because if this was what you were looking forward to, you're welcome. And if it wasn't, I'm sorry.
We've probably disappointed many of you. I think we've summed up enough about Wish
Yeah,
Upon.
that's-
It's
Not much to talk about.
yeah, it's a PG-13 movie. I'd say, you know, if you're in that age range where you can't see a rated R movie and you don't want to sneak in or anything.
I'm sure you'll find it okay.
Yeah, but even then, I'd say, you know, spend your money on like Spider-Man: Homecoming or something. Like
Spider-Man.
just a better movie.
Yeah.
In that.
And if you can go to rated R movies and you haven't seen Baby Driver, The Big Sick, or no, that's it.
That's it.
Then you gotta go see those.
Yeah.
Those are good as fuck.
Okay, so now we are going on to War for the Planet of the Apes.
Okay. This movie might have actually had apes chilling out on set.
This is the one, like, this movie, it's seriously, the special effect, it's strange, because, like, I have this weird thing with this movie that, like, the actual apes, like Caesar, and, like, the ones that look like him, I can see them and I can be like, okay, I know they're computer generated. But when it comes to, like, their design of gorillas and, like, orangutans, like, that's amazing.
There's points in this movie where I had, like, head trips because I genuinely couldn't understand how they made it look that good.
Well, some of it, I'm like, is that, like, a practical effect? Because, like,
Yeah.
it looked so, like,
yeah,
real.
like the Steve Zahn ape, the funny one.
Yeah.
When he's poking in and out of that hole,
Yeah.
I literally was like, is that a real bust or something?
And there's the kind of quote-unquote bad, like, gorilla in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the first time you see him, I'm like, he looks real. Like,
and when it
looks
shows
like,
him up close.
yeah, like, really up close. It looks,
Same with Caesar. The only thing with Caesar is you kind of can see Andy Serkis.
his eyes are really,
Yeah.
but, like, I mean, the movie,
Speaking of, he fucking killed
it was a great performance by
Yeah.
him. I mean, the special effects in that movie are really great.
Yeah.
I think, like, that's the best element of that movie is just how real those look. Because, I mean,
And I think if you can kind of get past, maybe even on a second viewing, get past, like, the striking visuals, because not even just the visual effects, the cinematography and, like...
it's pretty good.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I
like,
genuinely was, like, floored.
the
a
opening
few times.
sequence, it actually had this really cool shot where, it shows all these soldiers shooting up, and it's like
Yeah.
this camera angle that's like kind of following like the tops of the trees.
Yeah.
But like it's like the camera's in the tops of the trees looking down at the soldiers. And
Yeah.
everything. I'm like, that's really cool because you don't see that angle a lot. You
Yeah.
never see top angles.
It felt like The Last of Us, like the game,
Yeah.
and kind of in tone and
The
appearance
setting
sometimes.
kind of seemed like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And it's kind of like not a super action-packed film.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a few set pieces, and it's certainly exciting when it is. But like, I didn't find it like overbearing in that sense,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a very subtle film, and I
Yeah.
thought it was emotional, to be honest.
I think there is one thing that we're gonna disagree on. I feel like, and that's the thing is I don't think this movie's great.
Oh, okay.
I think this movie's it's all right. I have some problems with it. Special effects in this movie are amazing. There's nothing wrong there. The sound design is fine. I mean, you get like it sounds really good. You have the sound effects of the guns, everything like that. It all syncs up. Really, it's a really well edited film too. The pacing of it seems to be pretty good. But I'd say my biggest problem with the movie is the story.
Okay.
I felt that the story kind of meandered a bit. Like, it kind of felt
That's
like it
fair.
was kind of wandering. It didn't seem as tightly focused as, say, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I think it's better than Dawn.
I disagree there.
I think it's better than Dawn because I've never seen a movie where, one, I don't groan at there being CGI characters.
Mhm.
Obviously, you kind of, like, need them or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, sequences in this movie where you kind of remember Rise of the Planet of the Apes wasn't starring Andy Serkis. It was starring James Franco. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes felt like it was starring Jason Clarke and his family. And, like, Caesar was still kind of a backpedal.
Yeah.
This movie felt like Caesar was the star.
Yeah.
And, like, you're following a group of apes with a little girl that barely, what does she say, like a few sentences?
That's one thing. They know how to use a child actor, and that is by not making them talk.
Yeah.
If you can have a child actor
We're
in your
talking
movie...
to you, Adam Sandler.
Exactly. Never make child actors speak. That's such a bad idea.
No, but there was such a subtlety to this movie that struck me because I was expecting kind of an action spectacle.
Yeah.
Because even Dawn was a little bit.
I think Dawn
That-
had more action than this.
Oh, yeah. And, like, just the subtlety of the camera and just overall the tracking shots gave me an eeriness. And, like you said, the sound design really assisted this movie.
Yeah.
And I felt it was kind of not a masterpiece, but just so good.
I
And
don't know.
I was struck. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't expecting much of the movie. Like, I knew it was getting good reviews, but I wasn't expecting it, like, to kind of take me back a little bit.
Yeah.
And Andy Serkis is somehow so fucking good as an ape. Like,
Yeah.
there's this part where he kind of breaks down emotionally and he says something. I'm just in case there's people that don't want it spoiled for them. We'll get into the story afterward.
Okay.
Like, he says something and it just breaks him to say it, and there's tears, like, in his eyes.
He's very emotional in this movie.
Yeah, and fuck, it really got me. I don't know. And I thought, what's his face? The guy that's good in everything he's in. Woody Harrelson. Yeah, I thought he was good, but man, there's no beating.
There was one... I liked Woody Harrelson in the movie, but there's one scene with him that's awful. And that's when he's, like, kind of... it's when he can no longer speak. And
Okay.
the noises he was making, I'm like, could the director just not be like, let's do another take? 'Cause
Yeah, alright.
He was making... Like, because it wasn't even, like, grunts or anything like that.
Should we get into the story?
Yeah, we'll get into the story.
Okay. Basically, the apes are still... There's a war kind of raging on because in the last movie, what's his name? Koba? Or Kuba?
Koba. I always want to call him Kubo because of Kubo. And
Oh, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
Koba kind of elicited a war with the humans in the
Yeah.
past one, and there's some apes that are on the human side because they still think a war should be raging. and they know that the apes won't win, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And Caesar's just trying to not
Fight.
partake. He wants to get his apes over that little forest and into that little paradise land, which I think is supposed to look like the opening scenes from Planet of the Apes. Like
yeah,
the
like
original.
it has like this somewhat desert,
yeah.
but like also the forestry.
Yeah, and he's trying to get his apes out there, and people are still wanting this war to rage, and also the humans are all after the apes, like there's no tomorrow. And then early on in the film, Woody Harrelson's team, I guess they're just trying to rile up Caesar. Like, they just kind of want to, like, get him, or, like, get him to come out of hiding.
Yeah.
To kill him.
Yeah.
So they kill his family. They kill his son, his older son, and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
They don't kill his youngest son. And then he kind of has revenge in his heart, and he goes to kill Woody Harrelson. That's basically the film. Him, this bigger ape, I can't remember its name.
Which one?
The big one that, like the gorilla that he goes with.
I don't remember his name.
Okay, and then a smaller ape that kind of is like his size.
Is that one Rocket or something like that?
No, Rocket was his son.
Was it?
I thought. I don't know. They're all apes.
They're all apes.
And they go and they find this little girl,
Mm-hmm.
and her son got killed by Caesar because he was trying to kill them.
You said son.
Yeah, her dad. Not her son. She's a little young.
She's like 7.
She's like 7 or 8. And then they meet up with a different ape who's actually from a different zoo, and that means that the virus kind of spread, right? And then is there another virus going around?
Well, it's the virus that like first wiped out a bunch of humans. That one's just mutating.
Okay, it's mutating and kind of bringing the humans to an ape-like form where they're becoming apes and apes are becoming humans. It's kind of like a contrast. And it just kind of unfoils from there. He's trying to rescue a bunch of his ape friends from
Captured.
like a concentration-esque situation.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst there's another human team out to get Woody Harrelson's team. And I thought it was interesting that the war is not really between the apes and the humans. It's the humans and the humans over, like, the future of the world or whatever. Should we just go to the end?
I think so. Or, well, I'll just point out a couple of the problems I had with the movie. One thing is, like, what I know, like, clearly the movie is called War for the Planet of the Apes, so you're expecting a lot of apes in it. And I know you said you liked the fact that this one was really heavily concentrated on the apes. But I think I would have liked to see a little more of the humans kind of drive.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people complain about those in the past movies, but I personally did enjoy those moments. But I feel like we didn't need as much human in this one, but like I feel like we could have used a little more.
Yeah. I think I liked the absence of humans because I like that in a movie completely almost with apes, it felt like a very human story.
Yeah.
And the human aspect of it is kind of like, not ironic, but it's kind of cool to see that they're coming into their own in a human way.
Mm-hmm.
And they're growing and seeing these different things happen in a human way where they kind of were neglected that feeling before of like missing loved ones, and like they get to communicate it so we understand.
Yeah.
And I like that once again Hooked on Phonics has helped Caesar grow his vocabulary, and now he's like basically a human.
Yeah.
He's a little talking boy.
I just feel like there's problems with some of the characters in the movie. Like, I feel like the movie was trying to throw, like, too many twists at you, I kind of feel like. Not, like, major twists, like a Shyamalan just changes everything, but, like, one of the ones I was thinking was, like, the dude with the bow and arrow. But, he was, like, I was expecting him, because there was always moments where he would look at Caesar, and they would have, like, a moment where they'd stare at each other. Okay. And so, like, I was like, everyone's expecting those two to get along, and I think their kind of twist is like, no, he didn't get along. He shot Caesar, but I feel like that's just poor character writing because it just seemed like it amounted to nothing.
I think there's a little bit of an allegory here with, like, kind of the recent political climate and not giving humans their rights and, like, and treating people like humans.
Mhm.
And the irony is that they're not humans. And I don't think it was overbearing, which I liked.
What?
It's that message.
Yeah.
You get the message of,
Yeah.
like, treat people with dignity, treat people with respect, treat everyone with respect, but it's not shoving it down your throat. And I think that's the second greatest example of that with, like, how Wonder Woman, I didn't feel super, like, feminism just down my throat.
Yeah, like Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Exactly. I can see your problems with the characters. I think I had a lot of moments where I was like, that's great. I love that. That's cool.
There was just one moment that made me completely eye roll, though. And that was when I feel like the writers forgot that there was an army of 20,000 people, and they're like, oh shit, avalanche? And then they just had an avalanche kill everyone.
Okay.
And I was like, that's awful.
Yeah. I agree, was exhilarating to me. I also liked how Caesar's, spoiler alert, Caesar dies at the very end.
I knew he was going to.
Yeah, I think we all did, but
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of a bold choice to not make it sad. Like, I didn't find it very sad.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like he was saying his adventure was done because he finally achieved happiness for his fellow man.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool that it was kind of just like he laid down and he was ready.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think I cried when the big ape died, like the big gorilla one.
Yeah.
But I didn't cry when
That's
Caesar
something
died.
the series does, is it seems like they hate gorillas. Because
Yeah.
gorillas always die in these movies. The two gorillas at the end of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, they both die, because they both go
Yeah.
for the helicopters. Then there's like a ton of like, or not apes, but like gorillas. But like the gorillas in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, I'm always like, they're so cool because, you know, they're big badasses. They're
Yeah.
like tanks. And then they just die. And then this one, I'm like, yeah, I like that gorilla. And then he just dies.
Overall, I thought it was amazing.
I thought it was good.
I'll give it 2 water bottles.
I'd give it a water bottle.
It's a hard rating system,
Yeah,
but I like it.
yeah.
A water bottle and a half?
Maybe a
Not
water
there,
bottle,
not
water
there.
bottle and a quarter, maybe, but that's like pushing it, I'd say.
All right, maybe we can agree on the next one.
Yeah.
All right, we saw this 2 weeks ago, like 2
2
and a
weeks
half.
ago and last week.
Yeah. Baby Driver.
Yeah. This is kind of a last minute decision to throw this in here.
Yeah, I thought maybe we could put 3 in there because
Yeah.
we weren't really agreeing on the last one, so maybe we could just end this on a high note.
Yeah.
This movie sucks. I'm just kidding.
Baby Driver's awful. I mean,
I don't even know. You probably, if you're listening to this podcast and you've gotten this far,
and you're not one of
you've-
our friends.
You've probably heard this dozens of times.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright's my favorite
I think
director.
he's by far one of the best.
the best working today, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But also just my favorite.
Yeah.
I kind of grew up knowing of the Cornetto movies, but I didn't really watch them until I got into movies.
Yeah.
Which was I was like 13 or 12. And I remember I couldn't believe that something like that was so good.
I mean, the writing in that movie, those movies are amazing.
They're all so amazing. And
Yeah.
I've been rewatching a lot of his movies lately. And like Scott Pilgrim, for its faults, I think is still great. And even the TV show Space that he made before the Cornetto trilogy with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost is some of the shit in that is just so. It's thrown in there like it's nothing,
Mhm.
but you're like, as a viewer, you're like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But they probably didn't even like think twice. And I think he has a very like laid back style of just impressing people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baby Driver is about a guy named Baby.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of had a thing happen when he was younger, so he listens to music because he was in a car crash.
Yeah, he had a hearing problem due to being in a car accident, so he listens to music to drown out all of the humming in his ears.
And he kind of, as a kid, his parents passed away, so he kind of was on the streets or whatever. And he stole Kevin Spacey's car, who's a crime lord, and there was like a bunch of money in the back. so he kind of drove away with it. Something happened to the money, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So Kevin Spacey's making him his getaway driver
To repay his
debts. I don't know how to talk about this movie without just completely geeking out, but like, there's points in this movie, tons of points, where I was like, he's one of the most strange directors, and I still wasn't expecting it to be this weird.
Yeah.
Or like expecting it to be this cool.
Well, I love
stylish.
it. Like, I mean, it's probably the best edited film I've seen.
Yeah,
Just
ever.
because it syncs so well with all the music and soundtracks.
It's like a music video.
Exactly. Because everyone always says it's like a musical, and I'm like, I mean, I understand where they're coming from,
yeah.
but like the music video, that is perfectly described.
Yeah. So basically, if you haven't seen it,
See it.
But like, say they're in a gunfight, the gunshots will match up to the music.
Yeah.
And music's playing, I think, like 90% of this movie. I was at a concert on Friday, so 2 days ago, and they were playing the soundtrack, and they played the soundtrack for like an hour and a half. And I was like, that's like the length of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the soundtrack's almost as long as the movie, because there's literally music playing like the whole time.
I mean, the characters and the acting in this movie is great.
Yeah. I don't even really like, just in case there are people that haven't seen it, just go see it. You can keep listening, because I don't think I'm going to get too much into the plot.
I mean, like, every actor is great.
Yeah. You got John Hamm, Jamie Foxx, Kevin Spacey, John Bernthal.
Ansel Elgort's really good.
Yeah, Ansel Elgort.
I think so. Ansel Elgort. I believe, yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy from...
And the girl's name's Lily Jones, right? Something like that?
Yeah. She's in... Is she in anything? I haven't seen her before.
But she was good in it.
Yeah. That was originally going to go to Emma Stone, but she turned it down for La La Land.
That was her fault for mistaking that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know what movie is getting better. I think this is getting better reviews, but I don't know if it'll have as much of a legacy.
Yeah. It's not going to make as much money as La La Land.
No. It's just delightfully refreshing.
Yeah, it's like, there's moments that are perfectly over the top, so like it...
Yeah.
But it never feels like the pacing is ever off. Like, it always feels like it's flowing perfectly.
And it flows like a song.
It does.
It's just constantly upbeat, and then there's the parts where it has to get dour, but it's never too long, and it always is. It's like a constant speed almost.
It's a movie that just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
But also bad in the perfect way possible.
Yeah. It makes me feel bad because I'm going to college to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'll never do anything that important.
It is great. Like, I don't think we should talk too much about it.
Yeah.
Just in case people haven't seen it.
Yeah, we just dismantled
we'll spoil two movies.
The two movies that just came out this weekend, but
the one 2 weeks ago.
Just go see it, honestly.
Go see it. Even if you've already seen it, go see it again.
Yeah.
It gets better, actually, every time you watch it.
Yeah.
So.
Edgar Wright, man. We could do an episode just on him.
Just on Edgar Wright.
I would like
it would just be like an hour just of us being like, God, Edgar
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So
Edgar
good. We'd have to just throw in like a Adam Sandler minute.
Yeah. We'll do Edgar Wright for half the episode, then Adam Sandler for the other half.
That's a good idea.
Let's do it.
Starting now. I think that's a good... this is probably what we'll be doing. Probably take like 2 or 3 movies and just talk about them.
Yeah.
And if you listened, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry if it was hard. Mom. And my girlfriend.
Sam back in Germany.
Yes. That was fun.
It was.
Thank you for listening. This has been
Operation Movie Cafe.
I'm Ian.
I'm Tyler.
Signing out.